Right. Welcome back, everyone, to the RR Boxing Podcast, hosted by me, and normally Conrad, but Conrad's not here today. But we have a guest that a lot of people have been waiting for. Mr. Wheat, welcome.
Hi, good to be here.
So how are you doing today, first of
Today,
all?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm kind of nervous. I got a big fight today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that on that top. So how did you at all get into, you know, the whole Rec Room Boxing stuff?
How I got into it? Oh, that was a long time ago. Um, I was looking for a game to play when I first got my VR. I was like, what would be cool in VR? I was like, oh, boxing. And so boxing facility is the first place I went to. And it was really different back then. Everything was white and it looked terrible. It was super glitchy and buggy. But I played that for a while and played that. And this was on an alt account, actually. This wasn't on my Mr. Wheat account. Or actually, at the time, that was my main account. And what got me into the real boxing league scene was I randomly came across Bandicoot in Boxing Facility. And
Oh,
at the time, I thought he was trash. I threw away one of my gloves because he only hit me one time. He was one shot. I was gonna fight him with one glove. Oop. And then he completely came back and whooped me. And he's like, you know what? I know a place for you. And he sent me to the league.
so he sent you to the BBL.
He sent me the BBL, but it turns out you can't fight in the BBL right when you join. So he sent me to FNL, and at the time, RRBL, like an old Rec Room boxing league, it's shut down now. But
So what was RBL exactly?
RRBL, I didn't know much about it. If you know Jake from State Farm,
Yeah.
he's the one who explained it to me, and that's where I had my first fight. Uh, my first fight ever was against this guy who didn't show up. And then the main event was a championship title match, and one of the guys also didn't show up. So I got thrown in
Wow.
to fight for the championship on my first ever boxing event. And it was against Jake from State Farm. And it was a slower match. I
Oh,
remember people saying my name and saying, if this guy Mr. Wheat wins, I'm quitting this game because my name was just so stupid. It was Mr. Wheat. What kind of name is that? And I ended up losing to Jake. But yeah, my first ever boxing match was a championship title.
so they put you against a dude a dude that has plenty of experience,
Yep.
and you only had like how much experience?
A few games in Rec Room facility and boxing
A
facility.
few games in boxing facility, and it gave you championship match. Is that what I'm getting here? Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's what happened.
Wow. So you have a lot of fights coming up, and of course we're all excited because you came out of retirement.
Yeah.
Which is the fight you're most hyped for?
Definitely the fight I have tonight against the babies. This is a really important fight because this tells whether or not I can go and fight H2O and kind of prove to people that I'm not as washed as I was. I'm coming back.
Yeah, I mean that fight is going to be great. I mean we have babies in the background there uh, because we just filmed a episode earlier. Won't tell you with who though. But so, what has your experience been like?
Overall, it's been
Yeah,
okay. Um, when I first started boxing, it was really interesting. Everything was new to me, but it was like intriguing. It was fun. And once I started getting to the different leagues, BBL, FNL, it just became a blast. But I think the strategies that started to develop over time by people really started to make the game not as fun. The metas, I guess you could say.
so you have been in this boxing game for a long time. And when did the thing dragging become a thing? When did dragging become a thing?
I think dragging has always been a thing. I think people have this weird idea that dragging is only when you swing as hard as possible and your gloves flying across the ring. That's not how it used to be, but we used to still drag. Dragging has been here for a long time. It's mostly a sword fighting concept that I think was brought over. Um, but it used to not be bad. It used to be everyone did it, and it wasn't this toxic, oh, you're dragging, bro. It's hitting me from across the ring. It just wasn't like that, like it is nowadays, and had to be regulated.
But back then it was kind of normal.
Yeah, back then it was normal. If you had a long drag, that was cool, bro. Like, oh my God, that's so cool. I want to have a drag like you. Now, if someone drags super long, it's get out of this ring, bro. You're hacking, you're cheating.
So what was your first real fight?
My first real fight, besides that championship title,
Yeah.
um, that's a good question. It was an FNL. Um, Oh, I don't actually remember. It was so it's been so long. I know I won it though. I won it by knockout. Was my first ever fight because my first 6 fights in a row were wins because I made a goal that I wanted to win
No.
to fight the championship.
Yeah. I mean that's pretty good. So power boxing. Have you fought in there?
Power boxing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the champion in power boxing.
So tell us about power boxing.
Power boxing was unique. That's kind of where I first met Scratch, and actually that's where I first competed in my first tournament. It's also where I got eliminated first round by this guy, and it kind of reformed my entire fighting style. At the time, I thought it was really tough stuff. I thought I could go for championships and be a god, and then I entered in this tournament and got completely obliterated first round. It wasn't even close. But since then, I just kept participating, became closer with Scratch, competed in these championship matches and ended up becoming the longest champion in power boxing, and
Oh,
it actually got deleted, so I was the last champion of power boxing.
on the topic of it got deleted, how do you feel about that?
I was really sad to hear about that. I had gone away for like a weekend or a week because I had a trip, and I came back to see that it was gone. I tried searching it up on Rec Room, and I DM'd Scratch, and I guess there was an issue with one of the co-owners there, and I felt really sad because I knew there were some people who wanted to challenge me for that belt. I think H2O was one of them at the time, and a few other people.
I mean, at the time I also wanted to fight in power boxing, but then it got deleted and I was fuming. But what? When I want to start fighting, it gets deleted. And it was really shit for me because the first, when I got into raccoon boxing, the first map I went to was power boxing because I thought it's like a facility game, which it kind of was at the time,
Yeah.
and now it's just gone. Yeah, it's kind of shit. But now FNL has a power boxing stadium.
Hmm.
That's kind of thing I'm happy about.
Yeah. And that's thanks to
It's-
Scratch.
yeah, I mean, but on the topic of Scratch, um, have you have you heard of things that Scratch has done? And
Uh, I remember for a period of time there was some drama going on. I never really looked into it because I didn't want to get into it. I didn't want someone to say Wheat said this or Wheat heard this. But do you know what happened? Because I'm unsure actually.
so, Mind League, CBL, and
Mm-hmm.
the ABL, like Raves League and
Yes.
Jake State Farm League. We had a
Anarchy.
stadium for that. And what Scratch and Tokyo Lights did was just steal it, just copy it all, and take it for their own matters. And they did the same thing with Royal's boxing gym and the CBL venue and the CBL arena. They copied all those and
Really?
probably even more. Yeah,
I did not know any of this.
yeah, they copied everything. They stole and shit. When I saw that they copied the whole CBL arena, I was pissed because that's the arena that belongs to my league and my league only. We're the only ones that should be using it because it was made for the league. And then they just use everything for the wrestling, and they steal everything,
Oh
which
man,
made me look have a very different look at Scratch.
I guess I've seen the CBL, the venue, the wood kind of looking one. I've been
Yeah,
there. That was a nice arena. I liked the wood. Um, but I've never seen any of the other. I've never seen a copied map, I guess, of it.
yeah, but we saw a picture on rec.net. I mean, the babies look searched it up, and
Hmm.
it came up, and it was the exact same arena. Only thing changed was the chairs, and on the flags, it was not the CBL logo was gone, and what was there was just the letters RCW, which is the name of the wrestling league.
Oh, I didn't realize I had a wrestling league.
Yeah, I didn't realize that um for like 1 month, I think, or so, or like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and shit. Um, but I'm not gonna go further into the wrestling league because I don't want any promotion to be made here. I don't want to promote that shit because
We'll
it's
bleep it out in post.
uh because stealing shit and using it for your own matters is really fucked up.
Yeah, that's really messed up.
Because
I didn't realize.
he spent a lot of time building the CBO arena, yeah, the CBO venue, the arena for the ABO and shit. Like 2 days, 3 days he spent on it,
Hmm.
and then they just copy it, and it's very shit.
Yeah, like I said.
And like then I looked at, and then I was like, what the fuck? At the end, Tokyo Lights. No, I was fucking pissed. It stopped. Oi, stop shit. Fuck, I can't speak.
Stop stealing stuff.
Stop, stop stealing my shit.
Yeah.
And then he was like, talk to Scratch. And I wanted to, but somehow I can't met him on Discord.
Ooh, did he block you?
So I think he blocked me because he probably knew I was the owner of CBO and wasn't going to be happy about it.
Hmm.
So he blocked me. And then there's no way to get in contact with him because they also banned me from the wrestling league.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's super incriminating.
But getting away from that topic, um, what bells have you held? What bells have you
Ooh,
owned?
I've held a lot. So obviously I was the UFC champion. Well, when it comes to UFC, I've held the belt twice. I earned it, then
That you still
retired,
ID
then
right
came.
now?
Yes, actually. um, I earned it, then retired, then came back and won it back, and then retired, and now I'm kind of back. I'm actually going for it again for a third time. Um, I've also held um, the gladiator boxing. League. I've held one of their
Oh,
belts.
yeah.
There was, there's been so many minor leagues I've been a part of. I think at one point I held like 7 different power boxing. Obviously, I held that belt. Um, there's just been so many minor leagues that I've been a part of that I'll fight in, and then I became champion. Um, Sadly, I retired and forfeited a lot of them. I think in Pizza Man boxing, I held something um, against after I fought Shaggy, but it's,
So, from all the leagues you fought in, what were your favorite belts?
oh, favorite looking
Favorite looking belts? Yeah.
power boxing. I loved the power boxing belts whenever they came out because it was just different from the other belts we were seeing. I think at the time, whenever I was really competing in power boxing, most other leagues hadn't come out with really nice belts like they are now. PBC has a really sick belt now. I saw their belt the other day. It's really cool. I really like their belt. Not that one. That's the one at
That's
the
the old one,
time
yeah.
they had. That's the old one. Their new one though, super detailed, super cool looking. Um, when I was competing power boxing, I think had the coolest belts. I even have my own belt in power boxing. It's the Wheat belt because I was the longest champion.
Wow, so you had your own belt, but it made you your own belt.
Mhm.
Wow. So you were the best fighter in pop-up boxing, right?
I'd say
Or
yeah.
one of the best. Right. So UFC, right? There's been a lot of talk about UFC now. With Conrad being the new UFC overseer and FNO
Hmm.
getting going and everything. And it's really good having some more eyes on UFC. And I know you've had a lot of experience in UFC, so
Hmm.
tell us about that.
So UFC was a really cool concept when it came out. It was weird. You had legs and your arms had shields in it. And so I was one of the first people to compete. I was one of the first people to compete in the tournament that opened up UFC. And at the time, I crushed everybody. I was just
Wow.
going through everyone, knocking them out. Maury was still owner, and he was like, I hope you didn't have any dreams of winning this tournament because Wheat is in it. Um, Jens was my teammate at the time, and I didn't take him seriously because I'd seen him barely win his last match. So I didn't train for like a week. And during that time, I guess he trained quite a bit. So come fight night, he actually beat me for that tournament belt, which is sad. I did really want it. So afterwards, I started competing really heavily in UFC, becoming the champion. I've never lost a match officially.
I mean, I had a match against you.
You
Uh,
did have a match against me. I think it was a bit of a mismatch. It's
but
difficult to put me against
yeah,
anybody unless they're the top person. Just because there's so many mechanics people don't understand or know about. I've spent so much time just understanding the small detail.
yeah. I mean, that put me against you with me not having one fight on
Hmm.
VR in the UFC, and you like having 20 fights and even more, and I have competed for belts and undefeated.
It was a bit of a mismatch. Um, I don't
So
know who would have been better, but
yeah, so I saw you had some beef with Dustin McCall or Yawning Gag, uh, in the podcast Discord.
I don't know what that
So
dude's problem
what's that
was.
about?
He came in so hot, accusing you of this thing about why am I a special guest and all this other stuff, and he just seemed to be really aggressive. So I told him to chill out, and then he started throwing shade at me like shut the fuck up, weed, and um, I had to. I kind of got a little bit heated. talking about how he beat me super easily and I'm washed, and that's a phrase I've been hearing a lot, is that I'm washed, and I kind of take it quite offensively, and I get kind of upset when I hear it. So I don't even know who Dustin is, to be honest. I don't know who this guy is. If anything, he sounds terrible. I don't think he'd be a challenge for me at all, and so for him to say he'd easily
He
beat me, and
um he was uh the last opponent I fought on screen.
oh, he's a
He
screen fighter?
no, he's now on VR. Um, he was trash talking so much. He was trash talking me to the end. He's saying, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna fuck you up the first round and everything. And then and it was for the PBC screen title, which is behind you.
Oh, is
That
that
was
that one?
one. That was the one at the time that I held, and that was the last match I had on screen. I defended my belt against him, and then I won by decision,
Mm-hmm.
and I could tell he was super mad. He was like,
Yeah,
he was really pissed.
I don't like him very much. He seems really cocky, and I don't think he has the skill to back up any of it.
I mean, I've been thinking about getting him on the podcast.
I don't know
I've
if
had
it'd
him,
be worth it.
I've had him written down, but now I'm kind of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of thinking about, is it really a good idea to let him on a podcast that so many people want to be on? It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I woke up, I typed a message in Discord, everyone that wants episode, get on now. In a matter of seconds, I get 3 DMs. One from Zooey, one from the babies, and one from you. Like, fucking, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
There's so many people that want to be on this, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
love it.
really cool.
And yeah, I've had this idea for a while, like making a boxing podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and now I've gone through with it, and I'm happy that I did, because a lot of people love it. Like,
Yeah,
love the
personally, I love
episodes
it.
shit, and everything. And some people have said the setup looks a bit.
I
I
actually
think
quite like the setup.
I like the setup, but I don't think it's more about the setup.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not supposed to look at the setup. You're supposed to listen.
Yeah. It's a podcast.
Yeah,
It's not a TV
it's a
show.
podcast. Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to listen to people, what people say, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yesterday I think I did 4 episodes or so, or
That's
something.
a lot.
I think I did one test episode and then 3 with people, like 3 normal
Mm.
ones. And the first one with Alex came out really good.
Yeah, I really like that one. I listened to the whole thing once I heard it came out, and I really liked it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's already like 40 people in the Discord,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty good for it being only out for one day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have a lot of guests. Probably, I mean, I have filmed like 4 episodes today,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got one done, and now we're doing the one with you. Which, the one with you is what one of the ones I was most excited about, because
Yeah.
I know you can talk on topics very well, and you know talk and everything, and people love you.
I don't get
And
that.
what
I don't.
what do you know?
I don't know when it became a thing that I was popular. I, for the longest time, I just wanted to be this underdog coming in to fight Zayn, and then I don't know when people thought I was this. That's another thing. People consider me this nice guy who's nice to everyone. I don't know when that happened either. Um, it's not that I'm rude or anything, but I don't like being popular. I don't like that other people like me a lot, and I don't like that I have to be this nice Mr. Wheat. It's almost frustrating at times because oh, it's Mr. Wheat. It's like oh yeah, oh he's so nice to everyone. Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know when it happened when I became popular, but looking back on it, I wish I could go back to being like a rookie or an amateur.
Yeah, like, I've heard when we were sparring in boxing facility, like, oh my god, it's Wheat, I have to fight him. I was like, what the fuck?
I got
What's going
really
on now?
recognized after power boxing. Once I became the power boxing champion, because that was a really hot spot for people to go. And obviously it says champion Mr. Wheat with a giant wall of my name. People and facility noticed me more like, wait, are you the Mr. Wheat, the one who's the power boxing champion? I was like, oh yeah. So maybe that's where it came from. I don't know.
And I've also seen people in the FNL Discord asking for a fucking autograph, a fucking photo. And I was like,
People
what?
people have photos of beating me. It's like they'll beat me and they'll take a photo like, oh, I just beat Mr. Wheat. I hate that too. I don't like being considered not that I don't like being considered good at the game, but I don't want to be considered this monster or this guy who, oh my God, he just got beat. Because it puts a lot of pressure on a fighter to always win or always do well. I think instead it should be, I don't know, that fighter did good. Like I hate this pressure that's put on me sometimes.
Yeah. Um, so, what do you think about your next UFC match? Are you excited for it? Are you?
Oh, against the babies, I think I'm pretty excited for it. I think the babies will be a good opponent. I don't know how experienced he is in UFC, and he is a fantastic boxer. He's one of the best boxers I've seen in a while. But UFC is a different beast altogether. UFC, I I think I have an advantage there. Um, so I wish him luck. I think if anyone was gonna make bets on it, I think I'm still the safer bet though.
Um. So he has only one match experience against Jens
hmm
from last week, which he won.
I I wasn't there to actually watch that match, which is a shame. I left after my match against you, because I just had plans. Did was it a close match? Was it by KO? I really don't know.
I I didn't see it, but I saw after that he won by TKO.
By TKO, technical knockout. Wait. Oh, okay. I think we have a message coming in from the man himself.
Yeah, seems to be like yeah the word and this is the word.
Ah, Jin's had to go.
Ah, so you were winning. Uh yeah. I mean, Jens is one of the top guys in UFC,
Oh yeah, Jin's is pretty good. Although
and
for a while I did not like Jin.
I mean, Jens is kind of up and down for me. Sometimes I like him, sometimes I fucking hate him because sometimes he's really annoying.
He can be really cocky, especially after he
Yeah.
won that tournament. He considered himself really good, and it was so frustrating to me because I knew I was better than him. Um, so whenever we had our first Mr. Wheat versus Gens 2, I knew that that was the moment I was going to prove. Whenever we fought way back in that tournament, I was a novice. I wasn't nearly as good as I am now. And so when I fought him and I beat him, I was really happy. I think that showed that I was better than him, and his title of being this tournament winner is nothing compared to the champion.
So from all boxing leagues and leagues in general, like UC leagues and stuff, what were your favorite boxing gloves? Do you need to
My favorite boxers?
no, your
Ooh.
favorite boxing gloves.
Oh, gloves.
Yeah.
Mm. I don't like power boxing gloves. I can tell you that right now. I know that for a fact. Power boxing gloves are
he's
just
he's
big.
he's pretty happy right now because earlier we had an episode with him and Zui,
Mm-hmm.
and Zui said he liked the power boxing ones the best.
I disagree respectfully. They are too big, and the thing that makes a good glove, in my opinion, is the angle that you put your sword inside the glove. Power boxing gloves are just straight. That's not good, especially when you're trying to throw hooks. It's weird. You don't want that. I haven't used the recent FNL gloves. Last time I used them, they had a little bit too much of a curve on the inside. I think facility gloves are pretty good, but overall, if I had to choose a league glove, Bandicoots is probably the best at the moment.
So also, who's your favorite fighter?
Hmm. Oh, my favorite fighter
Yeah.
of all time?
Yeah.
Zane is a really good fighter. He was my favorite fighter for a long time, but it's kind of an easy thing to say my favorite fighter is Zane. So besides Zane, I'd actually have to say White Mamba is my favorite fighter.
Mm.
He's been my favorite for a long time. I've always loved fighting him because he's for a long time he always used to fight kind of like me. It was different, but it was sort of like me. So it was kind of like fighting myself, and it was really enjoyable. I have some really enjoyable fights fighting Mamba, and I think he's just a good guy.
Yeah. And who was your favorite opponent?
My favorite opponent? That's a good question. So my favorite opponent is probably Zane. And the reason I say Zane is because when I first got into boxing, I heard of just one name. There was one name that if you said it, everyone kind of go quiet and they knew what it meant, and that was Zane. You said Zane, that's the champion. He's a beast. He's a monster. He's a crazy guy. And so I started training. That's what got me into fighting. And so I used to spar with Zane a ton. And I got pretty good from it. I think fighting Zane made me just a better fighter. And a lot of people think he was a kind of a rude guy or mean or whatever it was, but I'm used to people like that, so I enjoyed it. I think Zane was my favorite fighter to fight against, and yeah.
All right. So on every end of the episode of the podcast, we let the fighters, as you know, we let them go in the boxing machine, in the punching machine. So we'll get the camera over here, and I'm gonna let you have a go. The
Ooh,
current record for people that have been on the episode is 93, done by Leo.
93. Well, I know this doesn't count, but before the show, I did hit a 97 with a sick karate chop, but that's just me. All right.
Yeah, put coin in first.
Oh, that was gonna be it. That was gonna be 100. Oh.
I think now it should work. Wanna have another go?
Yeah, I'll have one more go. That was a bad swing.
Alright, there we go.
Hold on, I gotta know the strategy here. Oh, I didn't even hit it. I broke it. Woo! I'd like to see someone
3.
break that record. Personally, I'd like someone to break that record.
So, do you want to have one more go, or do you want to just leave it at that?
No, I'll have one more go.
Alright.
It's crazy. Are you cheating here? Before the match, you're like making me feel so confident with my 97, and now it's oh,
Oh, now
I
it's gone up.
punched
Now it's
something.
gone up. Not
35. That's just sad. Yeah, well, that's it. I'll leave it at 3. I'll call it my 35 or 3.
Alright, so that was the episode with Mr. Wheat. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in